Guys, it's Miss Hammond. Today we are going to be looking at combining sentences and complex sentences. So let's first start with combining sentences. Use the conjunction and, but, or to combine two simple sentences into a compound sentence. You can also use conjunctions to create compound subjects or compound predicates. Nina kicked the ball, Nina scored, the crowd cheered. So instead of doing that with simple sentences, let's make it a compound sentence. Nina kicked the ball and scored, and the crowd cheered. All right, so what we are going to do is now look at three sentences, and we are going to combine them. So our first one, our team won, the band played the school song. All right, so now I want you to use a conjunction to form a compound subject, compound predicate, or compound sentence. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Our team won and the band played the school song. So instead of having two separate sentences, we added the word and. All right, our next one. The pep squad cheered, the pep squad danced. All right, now again combine. Okay, this is the one I came up with. The pep squad cheered and danced. So again, we added the word and. Last one. My friends sang along. I sang along. Okay, here's my sentence. My friends and I sang along. Again, we added the word and. Okay, so now let's look at complex sentences. An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. All right, so let's look at the very first one. We built our fort. Okay, that would be an independent clause. Then we have the next one. A dependent clause cannot stand alone as a sentence and begins with a subordinating conjunction. Some common subordinating conjunctions are after, although, before, because, if, since, until, when, where, and while. Okay, so the next one, where we could see the river. All right, the next one is a complex sentence. Contains an independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. We built our fort where we could see the river. That would be a complex sentence. Next is use a comma after the dependent clause when it comes at the beginning of a sentence. And our last example is because the rain lasted so long, then there's the comma, we worried about flooding. All right, now let's look at some and do them together. So you'll have each sentence and then underline the independent clause, circle the dependent clause. All right, we built a new fort because the old one fell down. So underline the independent clause, circle the dependent clause. Okay, so the independent clause in this one is we built a new fort, and then the dependent clause is because the old one fell down. And if you look at our example up at the dependent clause, it gave us one of the words was because, so that made it a dependent clause. Next one, although the work was hard, we finished in 3 days. Circle the dependent clause, underline the independent clause. Okay, so although the work was hard, we circled because although was in our example for dependent clause, and we finished in 3 days was underlined for our independent clause. Next one, underline the independent clause and circle the dependent clause. We couldn't use the new fort until my father inspected it. Okay. The independent clause is we couldn't use the new fort until my father inspected it was the dependent clause. If you look up where we talked about dependent clause, we said until was one of our examples. Okay, now finish watching all of the videos and then go to Wonders and do your to-do list. Have a great day, guys.